It has been just over 2 days since President Trump's intelligence chiefs publicly refuted him in a public hearing on Capitol Hill, saying North Korea is unlikely to denuclearize, Iran is not breaching its nuclear agreement, and ISIS has not been defeated. The president fought back on Twitter, of course, writing, "The intelligence people seem to be extremely passive and naive when it comes to the dangers of Iran, and perhaps intelligence should go back to school." Today, the president argued the intelligence chief's testimony, which was, again, broadcast in full on live TV, didn't actually happen.
Mr. President, did you talk to your intelligence chiefs today about the displeasure you had with their testimony?
I did, and they said that they were totally misquoted and they were totally, it was taken out of context. So what I do is I'd suggest that you call them. They said it was fake news, so which frankly didn't surprise me.
We just ran exactly what they said to Congress.
It didn't surprise me at all.
Joining me now, one of the senators who was in that Intelligence Committee hearing, the president says is fake news, Senator Angus King, independent from Maine. The president posed today for a photo, a kind of, I guess, kiss and make up photo. Just concluded a great meeting with my Intel team in the Oval Office, who told me what they said on Tuesday at the Senate hearings was mischaracterized by the media. And we are very much in agreement on Iran, ISIS, North Korea. Their testimony was distorted. Is that true?
Well, this reminds me of the old country song, Chris, who are you going to believe, me or your own lying eyes? I mean, the testimony is there. I was there. I asked Gina Haspel very directly, is Iran in compliance with the nuclear agreement? And she hemmed around a little bit, but then she said, yes, it is. And that's what their findings are. As far as North Korea, I just looked up, by the way, you don't have to read the transcript. They filed a 42-page report as part of their testimony. And it says the same thing. You quoted, it says, we continue to assess that North Korea is unlikely to give up all of its nuclear weapons and production capabilities. And what bothered me, Chris, was the president coming after them. And today he says, well, they didn't say that. Well, maybe he should have figured that out before he issued a tweet telling them the whole intelligence community should go back to school.
Shouldn't they resign?
Oh, I don't think so. I hope not. I have a great deal of respect for those people, and they are great public servants. And that's why I just got really burned today, because I've been to a number of these stations of our intelligence folks around the world. They are patriotic people. They are taking their lives in their hands every day on behalf of the country. And to just say they ought to go back to school, I mean, it wasn't just Dan Coats or Gina Haspel. It was thousands of people that contributed to that analysis.
Well, here's my point. I mean, Jim Mattis basically said at a certain point the distance between my own views strongly held and the president's are too much, and I cannot abide working for the man. I mean, when the president says you should go back to school and contradicts your own intelligence assessments, there's a real question about at what sense this could ever be a functioning relationship.
Well, I think, I think that's what each one of those individuals has to make that decision. But in the meantime, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Dan Coats at the beginning of the hearing summarized it in as neatly as I've ever heard. He said, our job is to seek the truth and speak the truth. And that's exactly what they did. Now, the president doesn't have to pay attention to them. He should. But, Chris, there's another piece of this that really bothers me. If the president sends this signal, which essentially is, don't tell me what I don't want to hear, that could end up skewing and corrupting the intelligence process altogether, because people are going to say, well, we're not going to tell him this because he's not going to, he's going to be mad at us, he's going to tweet at us, and we end up with not getting good information up the line, and that could be disastrous for this country.
I'm old enough to remember Dick Cheney driving over to the CIA to look over their shoulders to make sure they gave him the intel that he wanted so as to justify the Iraq war. So we have very recent examples of how dangerous that can be.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm on the Intelligence Committee, as you know, and every time one of these people comes up for confirmation, I beat on them about, will you tell the president what he doesn't want to hear? Because that's your job. Your job is the facts. The president, whoever it is, their job is to make policy based upon those facts. But if you're trying to sort of cook the data in order to meet the policy preferences of the executive, that's how you get things like like the Iraq War.
A final question. This is some news that broke this evening. There was a question when Don Jr. was making the arrangements for what is now the infamous Trump Tower meeting, in which he was promised dirt on behalf of the Russian government, which was supporting his father. After a phone call with Emin Agalarov, the pop singer and son of the oligarch who he had made the arrangements with, there were 2 blocked calls, the identity of which were unknown and which no one seemed particularly that interested in finding out, at least Republicans the majority. News tonight that Senate investigators have found those calls, and they are not with his father. They are with 2 different business associates of Don Jr. and the family. Can you confirm that reporting since you're on the committee?
I hate to make you ask such a long question and then say no, but I am not going to either confirm or deny the report because I am on the committee, and the work that we're doing is, at this point, confidential or classified, committee sensitive. So you'll find out when we issue our final report. I'm sorry, but that's the way we're trying to run our committee.
Fair enough. Had to ask. Senator Angus King, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good to talk to you.